And we are recording. All right.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am Samantha Vetter. I'm a junior at Marq, and this is my presentation on a class that I took at UW-Baraboo-Platteville, or Platteville-Baraboo. This is just an introduction to criminal justice class, so it'll just kind of be like the basics of what I learned and about like why I took the class. Okay. So I chose to take this class as preparation for a future career plan. I am planning on being a social worker in a correctional facility one day, hopefully. And this was kind of just to prepare me to see if that would be something I'm interested in, as well as because the criminal justice system is super relevant right now. I wanted to just be more educated on it, and it seemed like a very interesting topic. Okay. So the system is kind of organized into three parts, which is police, courts, and corrections. And that was the order that we did the lessons in my class, as well as at the end, we added criminology as well. So that would be theories on why people commit crime, which is the main focus. So for each section, we did assignments and lectures, and we got, here's some of the assignments that we did. So we have a lot of reading to do for this class, and partially we did quizzes weekly-ish, total there are about 10. We also did a pair web assignment, so I partnered up with somebody in my class, and we looked through government databases to kind of analyze how we collect crime data, and then sort of review how those websites are laid out and how good they are. We also did an intake court paper, so I went to the Sauk County intake courthouse, and I went about I want to say 5 times and just kind of talked about my findings there, because I learned that you can actually just go to court to observe, and it was actually a really cool experience and kind of opened up another door for a possible career path for me as a public defender or attorney, which is something I was also considering, but it sounds hard, so I don't know. So that was really cool. Then we also did a book review from a guy named Victor Hassine. He got life in prison without the chance of parole for homicide, and he kind of talked about his experiences in prison, and it was a really interesting way of learning about the criminal justice system, because he shared some personal experiences from his life, as well as stories, a collection of stories from other people that he met when he was in prison. So that was really interesting, and I recommend that book. I also decided to do an extra credit assignment on the movie The Black Klansman, just because I was talking to my professor about it, and she thought that it would be an interesting thing to look into. And that's a movie that I highly recommend. It's also a book that he wrote, Ron Stallworth, who the movie is about. He was a police officer who infiltrated a branch of the KKK. So super cool stories from that. What I want my words to do to you is a film review on women in the criminal justice system, the kind of crimes they commit, and how they kind of react to those crimes. If you'd like to see any of these assignments, the papers especially, just let me know, and I can share them with you, because I spent all of my semester doing that. Along with that, we also got a lot of guest speakers, which was super interesting. So we got a judge from the Sauk County Courthouse who came in to talk about his experiences. He's actually retired now. I believe we were the last group he had to talk to about it, but he still does fill in every now and then. If there's a judge who is sick or something like that, then he can still pop in to do that. As well as the Sauk police chief, who was also retiring, and also the last group we got to talk to, which was really cool. He kind of has a very modern way of looking at policing, and is very educated. He's been doing it for a long time, and it was really interesting to talk to him. So if you want to talk with me one-on-one about that, definitely feel free, because that was super cool. Also, my professor is from Germany and lived there for a very long time, so has a lot of connections from Germany. So we got to talk to a criminologist from Germany over Zoom, of course, because that'd be a pretty big project. But he was super interesting. He's actually been to the U.S. for a lot of bigger projects because he's super well known and well respected in the criminologist field. And the last guest speaker that we got was a prison guard from Boscobel, which is like the highest maximum security prison in the state. So that was a really special thing to talk to him. All very cool. All right. Here's my favorite little karate kid. That doesn't really have anything to do with the presentation, but I thought that he was kind of represented how I felt about this. So there were a lot of lessons that I learned from this besides the actual criminal justice process, which I did get like a lot of knowledge from that I didn't know beforehand. A big thing was like time management and studying techniques that I haven't really had to use so extensively before. Because it took up so much time to do this class, but it was really interesting work. So being able to use a syllabus like 40,000 times every single day was really like new, interesting stuff for me, as well as learning how to take better notes and how to really understand information. So that was really cool to be able to learn all of that. But yeah, also a lot of it was just about like the social aspects of the criminal justice system that I wasn't even expecting to get from this class, because a lot of it, I was picturing that it was going to be like about the system, like here are the laws and here are the regulations that we have, here's the history of it. But what's really cool is that my professor's a sociologist, so she was able to incorporate that a lot into this class. So we got to learn a lot about the social aspects of the criminal justice system and about like poverty and race and discrimination within the system. So that was really cool. Well, not cool, but Thank you for watching. Any questions?
Why did you choose to do this for a project?
This actually is not a project.
Well, not project, but like, why did you choose to do it?
Well, I chose to present on this because I thought that I had the most information on this like available to present on for presentation night, and I also thought that it would be like an interesting thing to kind of just bring to Marq, because I encourage people to take classes outside of Marq because I learned a lot from it. You didn't?
Is it more common for a person to get for them to be wrongly convicted if they're a part of a certain race, gender, belief, etc.?
So it's really hard to get statistics on wrong convictions because a lot of times we don't find out that they were wrong. But I will say that like the uneven balance for like race in the prison system is like insane. And I wouldn't say necessarily that people of color are more likely to be wrongly convicted, as I would say that they are more likely to be over policed. So I always believe that, white people commit as many crimes as black people do, but people like neighborhoods that have a denser population of people of color are more likely to be policed and more likely to be enforced and get harsher sentencing. So that's a huge problem, but not necessarily wrongful convictions, but I'm sure there are many. Mr. Brim.
What's been the most rewarding part of this class for you?
This sounds bad, but honestly, the grades. Just because I haven't had like an experience where I've had a graded class that was like really difficult before. I've taken classes in the high school and those have been graded, but they were super easy to pass. And obviously we don't have grades at Marq, so being able to take a college class with a professor who has a reputation for being, hard to like do well in that class, it was really great because I have a 95 in that class right now, a little bit, but it's really cool to see like I'm putting in like a lot of work in this class and getting these numbers that maybe don't mean anything actually felt like great. So that was super rewarding for me.
As a follow-up, and this might have been contained in that answer, but what was the most challenging part of this?
The most challenging, I guess, honestly, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I was learning about was frustrating because it's not like easy fixes. Like you would imagine it is, because a lot of people think like to fix the criminal justice system, if you consider it to be broken or problematic, it's like, you know, changing the law or something, when really like the more that you look into it, the more it's like an entire like culture and like something that is going to take decades to even begin to shift. And it is shifting for better or for worse, but it's going to take a long time to get where we need to be. And that was really frustrating that like it probably won't be perfect in my lifetime. So that was really like challenging to wrap my head around all that's going on.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Let's clap one more time.
Okay.